say that I was one of the ones arrested at Portland Masons, one of the 145. One of the reasons I'm proud to say that is on my journey here today, I passed one of those screen billboards that was flashing the news up. And on the news, Sky News, it was showing just a little summary statement saying RBS bonuses paid by the taxpayer. And that just is an illustration of how our message is really getting through, and that's what the government is afraid of. So in terms of Portland Mason's case, as it stands at the moment, 145 people have been arrested, and in an ideal world, those charges would be dropped. Our lawyers are telling us that's not going to happen, and so we are facing the scenario where 20 people will have a test trial because they can't try all of us at once. There's no court that can accommodate that. And so coming up, we will hear on the 27th of June who will be in that test trial. And then on the 4th of July, there will be a hearing about that. So it would be brilliant if we could get as much support along to that as possible, because I can tell you just from individual experience, it is just a very arduous process. It's the first time I've been arrested, and just takes up a lot of your time and mental space, and it's not going to deter me from protesting, but I think it's really important that you do get support, because it definitely is another burden on your shoulders. In terms of support, there are many different ways you can do that. There's a campaign, there's a website for that. It's fortnite145.org, and on that there are suggestions of how you can help us in many different ways. There's a fundraiser coming up on the 25th of June in London Fields, so we'd love as much help with that as possible. And I think really turning up at the hearing would be fantastic, but ultimately joining more protests, UK Uncut protests, that's like kind of the best form of supporting us. In terms of the policing at UK Uncut protests to date, it's been quite varied. The trend is that it's becoming more and more extreme. In the last set of protests, which happened just a couple of weeks ago, we had a really great turnout, like dozens and dozens of actions across the country, which was brilliant. But whereas before, when people were perhaps meeting to do an action, there weren't police there at the meeting point, now there's a trend that the police are at the meeting point. I was just joking with somebody that this meeting shouldn't even be called the Defend the Right to Protest, it should be Defend the Right to Meet to Protest, because it's just getting ridiculous. One of the actions, for example, in London, just a couple of weeks ago, people met in Soho, police met with them, followed them onto the tube, up into Camden, and then tried to deter them from protesting there. So it's a matter of stalking by the police, I think, really. The positive side to this, though, is that they are scared because there are more and more people protesting. And I think we are getting to the stages now where they're feeling a bit overwhelmed and they can't really deal with us, as was illustrated really by Portland Masons. So on the 26th of March, there were literally thousands of people on Oxford Street, lots and lots of occupations and lots of shops, lots of people not arrested, which is a very confusing message to send out to people, to arrest just some people occupying one shop and no one else occupying dozens of other shops. But one of the messages to take home was that there was this feeling that the police just didn't really know how to cope. An illustration of this is that I was arrested at 25 to 7 in the evening, alongside the other 144 people, and I didn't get into a cell, which was 1.2 miles away, until 3 o'clock in the morning. The reason for that is they just didn't know what to do with this. There were just so many of us. Some people were, shipped out of London. There were like hundreds of policemen drafted in from outside of London. The police officer that arrested me, this is hilarious, she actually was a voluntary police officer because she was being made redundant, and she was volunteering to try and get into the police force. So I thought it was completely ironic that she was arresting me at an anti-cuts demonstration. She didn't quite see the irony herself, but the point really is that really if everybody here was to join in the next protest, then would really overwhelm them, and they're trying to put fear in us and stop us from protesting, but really what we should do is just up the game and protest more, and then they won't be able to arrest us, and we'll get our message across and change will happen. So join in the next protest and come and support wherever you can. Thank you very much.